folks, welcome back to Cincinnati. We're actually not in Cincinnati, we're in Kentucky, just across the river from Ohio, but we're at the Cincinnati International Airport. We're going to try this flight again. I think I have my rudder issues worked out, so it's a little blustery out here. Let's hop aboard. Ooh, peace and quiet. Ground services. We have our chocks. Let's connect our GPU. Open up some doors. I'm going to just check and see if I have some ground handling. I've been having problems with the ground handling lately. Okay. We have external power. Let's get the battery turned on. External power on. Fasten seatbelt sign. Chimes. Arm the emergency exits. Make sure our position light is on. Get the IRS system. Align nav. Align nav. Roll that lower dial around. We have 7 minutes in the align process. Check the slats and flaps indicator. Emergency locator beacon is armed. Turn on the speaker to the nav 1 and the marker beacon on the number 3 radio. It's set to transmit for the PA. No Mach speed warnings. No stall speed warnings that I can hear yet. Flight recorder is normal. Passenger oxygen masks is normal. Check the crew oxygen, that's fine. Voltages are fine. Yaw damper we'll get later. Flight controls and spoiler controls, alternator flaps, all normal. Navigation on both. Flight management computer, IRS to normal, VHF both. Sources to auto, control panel auto. Cross feed valve is off. We'll leave the pumps off for right now. Leave the wiper off for right now. Leave the hydraulics off for right now. Wing and ice, anti-ice off for right now. Leave the pitot static probe heat off for right now. We'll turn on the windscreen heat. Right now the recirculating fans are to auto. Temperature controls are in auto. We're going to leave the APU bleed the way it is right now. Our altitude here at Cincinnati Airport, Kilo Charlie Victor Golf, is 895 feet. So we'll want to put in 900 feet just in case we have to return. Flying at 29,000 feet. Pressurization system is in auto, and we are done upstairs. Let's go to our flight management computer. I'm going to change the angle on this just a little bit. I like to look down on it a little more squarely like that. Flight management computer. We are in a 737-800 with 26,000 pound rated engines. Our air-act cycle is current. Here's our model engine data. Go to our position initialization screen. We are at Kilo Charlie Victor Golf here in northern Kentucky. It's actually called the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Airport. We are at gate Bravo 11. Let's go to the next page and grab our GPS coordinates, which almost all the time is the most accurate. It's a little bit different than the gate or the airport reading that we can reference airport that you got right there. Our routing. We're flying from Cincinnati to good old Cleveland, diagonally across the state of Ohio. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is located in Cleveland. We are Delta Airlines, flight number 43. Our routing today, runway 18 center, Hagel 4 departure, Delta Quebec November, direct to Talkin, on the Rockin' 3 arrival to Cleveland. 6 right is our runway of arrival. Okay, so let's type in our first waypoint, which is Delta Quebec November. Direct, and then Talkin. Direct to that one. Our departure is on runway 18 center on Hagel 4 with DQN transition. Our arrival is at runway 6 right on the Rockin' 3, I love this, rockin' and rolling. How cool is that for Cleveland? The Rockin' 3 arrival, we're rockin' and talking. Rockin' and rockin', okay. And let's hit the legs and activate. Execute. Page down, look for any discontinuities. There shouldn't be any. Wonderful. Let's go to the position initialization, route, and performance initialization. Zero fuel rate is 59.7. Reserves are 2.2. Cost index is 85. Cruise altitude is flight level 290. Cruise wind is 266 at 61. steep descent after rush, that's fine. 266 at 61. ISA deviation is 8 degrees. Transition altitude is 18,000 feet. Now, we told the computer all this, but we don't actually have that load on our airplane until we put that load on our airplane. So one thing I want to do before we get too far is to pull up not only the SimBrief helper, which is very helpful, but also the actual SimBrief, SIMB. Gotta be able to spell it correctly. Okay. Takeoff weight 79016. Let's remember that number. 79016. And our block fuel is 5300. So we'll bring our fuel to 5345 is as close as we can get. And 79016 on the takeoff weight. Look at that, we're overweight right there, so we're just right at our weight limit. Okay, the aircraft has the payload and now has the weight. Let's execute that. And that, I think, if you were with me last time, that was one of our problems. We're very heavy. We're right at our weight limit. And that might be the reason why we couldn't, this next portion wouldn't work out. I added an outside temperature. I think this time I'm not going to try to do that and see what happens. Still might not be able to do this. Oh, nope, we have, you can see we have our calculated center of gravity, our trim setting, and we can verify our V-speeds. They are high. Trim 4.5 on the trim wheel. And I have my virtual first officer with me today. If I don't get that trim setting right, she's gonna gnaw my ear off. So that looks to me like it's at 4.5. We are set. Let's close that. Oh, we need that 142 in the V2. 142. Flight director's on. And let's fire up our air traffic control program. Brakes to rejected takeoff. Arm the spoilers. Nav radio and marker beacon on radio number 2. Nav 1 and marker beacon on radio number 1. Microphone is on number 1. Microphone over here on number 2. Let's feed our route to the air traffic control program. Kilo, Charlie, Victor, Golf, to DQN, to Talkin', to Kilo, Charlie, Lima, Echo, Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. We are actually in Kentucky. Cleveland Hopkins Airport is about 60 miles from Pennsylvania, not far from Erie, PA. A little further on from there is Buffalo, New York. So here's our raw route, the way air traffic control sees it. Cincinnati, DQN, Talkin. Let's add a SID, which you remember we are on runway 18 center. And the available SIDs, we want the Hagel 4 with the DQN transition. We'll load that in. It'll change the map a little bit. There we go. We'll also add a star. Oops. Oh, okay. I didn't like my arrival airport. It didn't think we had an arrival airport. There we go. There's the Cleveland Hopkins Airport. Okay, we'll add the SID. 18 Charlie, Hagel 4, DQN, we'll load it in. And now time for the star. We're coming in on runway 6 left on the Rockin' 3 with the Talkin transition. We'll load that in. Great, let's connect to the simulator.
Cincinnati North IRNKY International Information Mike 1536 Zulu ins are 226 at 1 knots gust into 10 knots 1100 Broken 1700 OBRCAs Temperature 20, dew point 18 Current altimeter is 2974 Arriving and departing runway 27 Cincinnati North IRNKY International Information Mike 1536 Zulu ins are 2
Cincinnati clearance delivery. Delta 4-3, ready to copy.
Delta 4-3 is cleared to Kilo Charlie Lima Echo, fly the Hagel 4 departure, with the DQN transition, then as filed. Expect departure runway 18 center. Climb to 5,000 feet via the departure. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Departure on 126.65. Squawk 5420.
Delta 43 is cleared to Kilo Charlie Lima Echo, fly the HAGOL 4 departure, with the DQN transition, then as filed. Climb to 5,000 feet via the departure. Expect higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Departure on 126.65. Squawk 5420.
Delta 43 read back correct. Altimeter 299er2 contact ground on 121.7 when ready for pushback. Have a good morning.
Altimeter 299er2 ground on 121.7
Electrical power
Delta
up
43.
procedure.
Okay, are you ready for a checklist, Christy? Are you ready for a checklist, Christy? I think she started the APU. Wow, Christy, you're very efficient. I see the exhaust gas temperature gauge is coming up on the APU. I was going to do that after we ran our checklist, but I hit the electrical power up procedure button, and that allows Christy to do her own thing without much explanation. So she is firing up the APU. She's going to once we get the APU available light, she's going to transfer power onto the bus. I'm mildly surprised she didn't turn on one of the fuel pumps. There we go. Let's put the APU on the bus. Oh, look at that. She's picky about what fuel pump to use. Okay, very good. Are we ready for that checklist, Christine?
Electrical power-up procedure completed.
Thank you. Pre-flight checklist.
Pre-flight checklist. Voice recorder.
Normal.
Oxygen.
Ooh, I did not test the oxygen. Oh, you caught me, Christy. Let's test the oxygen very quickly. Get some good puffs of air off of our oxygen.
Tested 100%.
100%.
Navigation and display switches.
Navigation and display switches are set on.
Normal, auto. Window heat.
Window heat is on.
On. Pressurization mode selector.
Mode selector switch is auto.
Auto. Flight instruments.
Flight instruments are course is 280. Altitude is 1,040 feet, and barometric setting is 2902.
Heading 6. Altitude 1035. Altimeter 2992. Parking brake.
Parking brake is set.
Engine start levers.
Engine start levers are in the cutoff position.
Pre-flight checklist completed.
Wonderful. Let's start our flight leg and get our flight attendants and get the boarding process going. You can hear a little movement in the back there. Let's welcome the folks aboard.
Folks from the cockpit, I'd like to welcome you on board. We're ready up front. Everybody's closed up outside. We're just waiting to get some of our performance numbers and the clearance from air traffic control, and we should be underway. It's our pleasure having you on board with us today. Sit back, relax, enjoy the flight. Should be underway here shortly. Thanks for flying with Delta today.
Let's plan our pushback. Let's just push us right back to here.
All right, Captain, got the directions. Let me know through the menu when you're ready.
Let's get a pushback clearance. Cincinnati ground, Delta 4 tree, requests pushback and engine start. Cincinnati ground, Delta 4 tree, request pushback and engine start. Cincinnati ground, Delta 4 tree, ready for pushback and engine start.
Delta 4-3 pushback and engine start approved.
Pushback and engine start approved. Delta 4-3.
Okay, beacon light is on. Parking brake is on. let's continue the checklist up. Okay, we'll do the before start checklist.
Before start checklist. Papers.
On board.
Flight deck door.
Flight deck door is secured.
Closed and locked. Fuel.
Fuel quantity is 5,200.
Pumps on. Passenger signs.
Passenger signs are set.
On. Window.
Windows are locked.
Locked. MCP.
Speed 142. Heading 180. Altitude 5,000 feet.
Speed 142. Heading 180. Altitude 5,000. Takeoff speeds.
Takeoff speeds. V1 131, V2 133, VR 133, V2 is 142.
V1 131. V rotate 133. V2 142. CDU pre-flight.
CDU pre-flight is completed.
Completed. Rudder and aileron trim.
Rudder trim is 0.0, aileron trim is 4.5.
Taxi and takeoff briefing.
Oh, we didn't do a taxi and takeoff briefing, did we? Let's take care of that. We are taking off for 18 Charlie, so we're going to taxi to the left. This looks like taxiway J, and then taxiway D, Delta, all the way to the end to 18 Charlie. That is our takeoff briefing. And let's go to our star, which is the Haggle 4. Depart to the south to Flowy, Zugla, to 184, which is due south, to 249 at Zugla, 283 to Mippy, 315 to Hearn, 006 to Ammont, and then on 034 to Haggle. Climb heading 184 to 1400 feet altitude, then direct Flowy, then on to Haggle as depicted. Jets 6,000 feet, props 4,000 feet. So at Haggle, turbine aircraft maintain 6,000, all other aircraft maintain 4,000. Expect clearance to final altitude within 10 minutes after departure. Okay, so taxi briefing and departure briefing.
Anti-collision light.
Why don't you take care of that?
On. Before start checklist completed.
Okay, let's get our pushback.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
Ooh, bless you. What a manly sneeze you got there, Christy. There's our tug. Come in here and remove those chocks. Chocks out. Doors all closed and locked.
All right, looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
Jetway will pull away automatically.
Welcome aboard, Captain. Toes connected, bypass pins inserted. Go ahead and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
Parking brake off.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
Packs are off. Bleed cross feed. Oh goodness. Isolation valve is off. Dual bleed on. Watch our bleed pressure rise. Now that we're away from the gate, we can turn on our pitot and probe heat. We can get our hydraulics on. We can turn number 2 engine to the ground position. N2 is rising, 8, 9%, 10%. At 25, we'll add fuel. I can hear the safety briefing in the background. There's 25, here comes some fuel. Don't know why we don't seem to be moving. Pushback can't be complete. What's going on, buddy? Number 1 engine is settling in. Let's flip to ground on the number 2 engine settling in. We'll flip over to number 1. Here comes number 1. Fuel to number 1.
Just about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake.
Hey, you haven't even moved me, buddy.
And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me just a moment.
We may have to ask for this again. disabled better pushback. Looking like it's going to crash the system. And it did. Crash the system. Okay, well, we got a little further on that. We got a little further on that flight than we did previously. So we'll call that a success. We will say goodbye to our streaming audience, and we will hope to see you again on another flight soon.